Namaste. Welcome to Hatha Vinyasa Flow. My name is Michelle Chua, and for today's wide-legged practice of abduction, you might also call them hip openers, grab a couple of blocks and a strap. Let's begin an auspicious pose, and that's where you turn out the thighs, starting the process of abducting. That means moving the limbs away from the midline of the body. And if you find that the back wants to round or the knees are lifting uncomfortably from the ground, grab something to sit on and elevate your pelvis higher than your knees. Here's a very succinct quote from the late Wayne Dyer. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Perspective is so important. It colors our reality. Have you ever noticed that after you shifted your perspective about someone or about a situation, that your experience with that person or thing shifted too? Our perspective creates our reality, the way that we interact with the world around us. We can perpetuate a limiting narrative, per se, about a situation or a person and watch them match the vibration that we're emitting. Or on the other hand, we can also rewire how we are narrating a situation and how we are perceiving somebody, and in turn, change our own vibration and what we're attracting from them. It's important to remember that the change begins within us. And the yoga practice reminds us that the power is within, not about trying to fix that person or that thing, but what can we do here and move from that space? So let's begin. Take a moment to check in with your physical body. Notice what sensations you're experiencing in it. And observe your physical state as you begin your yoga practice. Bring your attention to the way your body is naturally breathing. And observe the way you feel energetically right now. Bring your attention to your mind. Sense its activity. And notice how you feel mentally and emotionally. Now drop into your heart space. Visualize the area of your heart center and allow a moment to offer gratitude for anything you can appreciate right now. And then begin to clarify one thing you choose to focus your attention and thus your energy on in this practice today. Setting your intention, your bigger picture for showing up. Setting the ego aside and practicing non-attachment. I invite you to choose someone beyond yourself to dedicate today's practice to. And now let's join our voices to create resonance, chanting 3 ohms. Inhale deeply. start to regulate our mind and bodies by regulating our breathing, beginning the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath. So closing the lips, softly narrow the back of your throat and invite a gentle whispering sound to your breath as you sustain it evenly in and out through your nose. As you cultivate a rhythm, let's come down to our hands, our backs, and start in happy baby pose, bringing the legs in abduction and external rotation. Take hold of your outer shins or feet and ground the back of your tailbone and the backs of your shoulders. A few deep breaths here. Then bring your hands to your outer thighs, close your knees, and rock and roll forward and back several times. And after the third or fourth time, I'll meet you in a standing forward fold, bending the knees, separating your feet hips distance, parallel to each other, and catching hold of opposite elbows as you gently sway your spine, shake, and nod your head. Tilt your weight forward and allow your hips to stack above your ankles. Spread your toes. Switch the cross of your arms, and as you drop your head, softening your neck and jaw, lift your shoulders away from the neck. Let's begin our first series of Surya Namaskars, sun salutations. Sweeping the arms forward, rise to stand, and find a gentle back bend where you drop the shoulders behind you, lift the chest, and gaze up. Exhale your hands to meet at your heart. Restate mentally or out loud your intention for this practice. Bring the feeling tone of that as you move to your breath. Inhale your arms overhead again, creating a gentle back bend, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge forward, then plant your fingertips on the floor. Inhale, step your left knee behind you. Kneeling lunge, look up. Holding your breath, step into plank pose. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin. Inhale, slide to the ground and coil your chest up lightly, cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb, lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, back bending. Exhale, hands together in Padasana. Second, last side. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana fold. Plant your fingertips. Inhale, step your right knee back to Anjaneyasana. Look up. Hold your breath and step to plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin. Inhale, slide to the ground and coil your chest up, cobra. Exhale, lift the hips, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb, lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and fold. Inhale, your arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Padasana. Second series of sun salutations. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, press the ground or your blocks. Lengthen your spine forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Step into plank and exhale, glide forward, lower to Chaturanga Dandasana. Then inhale to Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Let your body be still, steadying your gaze on one spot for 3 slow breaths. When you finish the third exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Uttanasana. Inhale, press down with your hands and lift your chest, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow again, Uttanasana. Root down to rise, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands together, Padasana. Once more, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Either step to plank and slowly lower or float to Chaturanga Dandasana. Continue to Cobra or Upward Dog. Exhale, Downward Dog. Pause there for 3 deep breaths. After the 3rd exhale, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale to rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands at your heart. Let's pause and breathe here. How many times have you practiced sun salutations in your life? Maybe quite a few. How do you bring a different perspective to each one, to each posture within a sun salutation? Aligning to your intention here today. What are you choosing to shift? What vibration do you want to attract? Last sun salutation series, bring your feet together to touch. Bend your knees together to touch and inhale into chair pose, maybe grazing the ground with your fingertips before raising the arms. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step or float back. Move through your vinyasa at your pace. At downward facing dog, inhale, raise your right leg behind you, squaring your hips to the floor. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb, dropping the back heel. Facing forward, inhale, rise into Warrior One. Exhale, lower to finish your vinyasa. At downward facing dog, inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, the foot beside your left thumb, dropping your right heel. Inhale, rise up to Warrior One. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. As you arrive in downward dog and pause for 3 breaths, what can you feel differently in this posture today? Being present with the details of the sensations that are new in this very moment. When you finish the 3rd exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Feet together, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Knees together, inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale to rise. Last Surya Namaskar, same one. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step or float into your vinyasa. At Adho Mukha Svanasana, inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, the foot beside right thumb, drop the back heel. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Continue on to your 2nd side, and we'll meet in downward dog. At downward dog, pause for 3 breaths. What is the mental attitude you're cultivating in this practice today? And how is that attitude affecting the way you're experiencing now? Walk or float when you're ready to the top of your mat. Feet touching, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Knees touching, inhale, sit into Utkatasana. Exhale, Padasana. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale to fold. Separate your feet hips distance apart, parallel to each other. And with knees bent, reach the hands behind you to clasp. Lift your chest forward, roll the shoulders back. And let's fold in for a few breaths. Softening your neck, relaxing your jaw, and tilting your weight forward as you stretch the arms further away from your lower back. Lifting the shoulders away from your neck. Tune into your breathing. Now set your fingertips on blocks or the ground in front of you, where you can really lift the spine parallel to the floor as you breathe in. As you exhale, bend your left knee towards your nose and contract the abdomen, round your back here. As you inhale, straighten the left leg parallel to the floor behind you, squaring your hips. As you exhale, step the ball of your left foot to the ground, rising to crescent lunge. Pausing here, steady your gaze on one spot. Bend your front knee right on top of the heel. Draw your right outer hip back. Drop your tailbone downward as you lift your frontal hip bones. Turning your left outer hip forward, firm your inner left heel towards your rear wall. One more deep breath in. Exhale, set up your feet in Warrior Two. Drop the back heel, align right heel to arch of left foot. But open the arms and let's straighten the legs for triangle pose. Glide your pelvis sideways towards your rear wall, reaching your right hand horizontally towards your front wall. Before placing that hand on the right side of your right shin on a block of the floor, raise your left arm up high and make sure that your right arm and right outer leg are firming against each other. Rotate your right outer hip under your body so that your right kneecap can point out towards the right pinky toe. Then press the crease of your right hip back towards your left outer foot, rooting down to your left outer foot. Lengthen your torso and crown towards the front wall, spiraling your chest slightly to face the sky. Trikonasana. Bending the right knee, inhale, peaceful warrior, side bend towards your rear wall, sweeping your right arm overhead. Keep your right knee bent and lengthen your torso towards the front wall, bringing your right arm to the inner side of your right thigh on a block of the floor. Use a block if the ground feels too low. Make contact between your right arm and the inside of your right thigh. Press them against each other and feel your right glute engage. Let's wrap the left arm behind your back here. Either the hand landing on your lower back or slipping the fingers to hold the top of your right thigh as you continue to spiral your chest slightly to face the sky. Seal the bottom of your front ribs inward towards the back of your body. And lengthen your tailbone towards your inner left heel. Parshva Konasana, side angle pose. Last 2 breaths here. Gaze at your right foot. Plant your hands to frame it at the top of your mat. Pivot your left foot to face forward and step it up to the top and fold. Separate your feet hips width apart, parallel to each other. Press your hands in front of you. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your right knee towards your nose, contract your belly and round. Inhale, straighten your right leg behind you, parallel to the floor. Exhale, step the ball of the right foot to the ground and rise to crescent lunge. Let's stay a few breaths. As you bend your left knee directly above your left heel, draw your left outer hip back. Dropping your tailbone, slightly lift your frontal hip bones towards your lowest front ribs. Rotate your right outer hip forward and firm your inner right heel towards your rear wall. Last few breaths. Spin your right heel down and align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Open your arms and straighten your legs for triangle. Glide your pelvis sideways towards the back wall as you reach the left hand towards the front wall. Placing your left hand on the left side of your left shin on a block or the floor, firm arm and leg against each other. Rotate your left outer hip beneath your body so your left knee points towards your left pinky toe. Tack the crease of your left outer hip back towards your right outer foot. Pressing the ground firmly with your right outer foot, stretch your torso forward and spin your chest slightly to face the sky. Trikonasana. Bend your left knee directly above your left heel. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Side bend towards your rear wall. Left arm overhead. Exhale, side angle pose. Reach your torso forward and bring the left arm on the inner side of your left thigh on a block or the floor. Firm the left arm against your inner left thigh and press back with the thigh. And let's wrap the right arm behind you. Rotating your chest slightly to face the sky, wrap your left outer hip under your body and press the crease of the left hip back towards your right outer foot, just like you did in triangle. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs and steady your gaze for a few more breaths. Ardha Uttanasana. Gazing at your left foot, this time plant your hands to frame it and please step back to downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa or a few cat-cows before you land. In downward facing dog, deep breaths. See that you have a strap close to the top of your mat. Then inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Now as you exhale, rotate your right thigh externally, which means turn it out at the hip. And if it feels fine, see if you can keep that right leg straight. Here's an abduction and external rotation of your right thigh at the hip. Take another breath in. As you exhale, tap the right knee to the right side of your outer right upper arm. Stepping the foot beside your right thumb, drop the back heel, Warrior One. Notice how Warrior One is very similar to Crescent Lunge. The difference is your back heel is now on the ground. But keep turning both hips to face forward, lifting your frontal hip bones. Let's bend the elbows apart here, preparing for eagle pose. Cross your right elbow over the left. Either press the backs of the hands against each other or wrap your forearms and palms. Relax the shoulders and draw in the navel. Keeping your breath steady, your eyes steady on one spot. Shift your weight onto your right foot and this time externally rotate the left thigh at the hip as you flex the left foot and wrap the left leg as much as you can around the right, bending the knees, sitting low. Stack your elbows and knees down your midline and let's stay a few breaths in eagle pose, Garudasana. We're going to continue balancing on this right foot. So as you rise to stand, place your hands on your hips and flex your left foot in front of you. Level the height of your hips and choose to either hold the outer left knee with your left hand, keeping the knee bent for hand to big toe pose, or use a strap, place it around the ball of the left foot, bringing the left arm on the inner side of your left leg, or clasp your left big toe with the left arm on the inner side of your left leg. The latter two, straightening the left leg forward, plug the left shoulder into its socket. Drop the left hip to match the height of the right hip. Now let's externally rotate the left thigh at the hip and slowly abduct the leg from the midline. Right arm abducts too. Maybe you gaze past the right hand. Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. Hand to big toe pose. Let's listen to a few last breaths here. Now gazing forward, bring your left leg in front of you. Let the strap fall as you bring your hands together at your heart. Step your left foot back 2/3 a shorter stance than you had in Warrior One, keeping the legs straight, both heels on the floor. Hips squared forward. Place your right hand on your right outer hip as we prepare for twisting triangle. Raise the left arm and root firmly down to your feet. Inhale, stretch your spine forward, parallel to the floor. Keep your hips leveled and exhale, rotate your rib cage to the right, lowering the left hand on the left side or the right side of your front foot. Block of the floor. Raising the right arm up, press down with both feet and activate the muscles in both legs. Then inhale, stretch your spine down the midline of your mat, sending the shoulders down your back. Exhale, firm your outer hips towards your midline so as not to rotate the pelvis, but continue to rotate your rib cage. Stacking your wrists and shoulders in one line. Harita Trikonasana. Now gaze down at your right foot and place your hands in plank pose, stepping back. Optional vinyasa. Let's meet in downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, turn out the thigh at the hip and abduct the leg even more. Inhale, tack the right hip back. Then exhale, hug the left knee outside your left outer upper arm in plank. Then step the foot beside your left thumb. Spin your right heel down for Warrior One. Inhale to rise. So hips squared forward. Bend your elbows apart to prepare for eagle pose. Cross your left elbow over the right. Press the backs of the hands against each other or wrap your forearms and palms. Drawing the shoulders down, lengthen your spine. As you engage your abdomen, steady your gaze on one spot and steady your breathing. Rotate your right leg externally at the hip as you abduct it, flexing the right foot, Wrap the leg around the left. Bend your knees and stack your elbows and knees down the center of your body. Eagle pose. Garudasana. What's your perspective here that you are perpetuating through the narrative in your mind? Is there a narrative in your mind? Bring your hands to your hips. Rise to stand on your left leg, flexing the right foot in front of you. Hand to big toe pose. Grab a strap if you're going to use it. Otherwise, hold your right knee bent or clasp your right big toe. Right arm on the inner side of the right leg. Extending the right leg forward, draw the right shoulder back and down, and drop your right hip to match the height of the left. Take it one step at a time. Without rushing, establish the foundation from one step to another. Turn out the right thigh and abduct your right arm, your right leg and your left arm. Maybe look over your left shoulder. Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. A few more breaths here. Now gazing forward, bring your right leg in front of you. Drop the strap, step your right foot behind you, 2/3 shorter stance than you did in Warrior One, this time with both legs straight. Place your left hand on your left hip and raise your right arm to prepare for twisting triangle. Root down to toe spread, energizing your legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward, parallel to the floor. Exhale, twist to the left and lower the right hand on either side of your front foot. Inhale, ground your feet and lengthen the spine forward. Exhale, hug your outer hips towards your midline while continuing to rotate your rib cage. Parita Trikonasana. Now gaze at your left foot and let's meet at the top of a push-up. Plank pose. Bring the inner edges of your feet together to touch, setting up for side plank. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot, flexing your left foot as you stack the right foot flexed on top. Stack your shoulders and wrists and raise the right arm. Now I invite you to take an external rotation of the right thigh at the hip, either placing the right foot on the inner side of your left leg, just like tree pose, or taking hand to big toe pose here, raising the right leg to the sky for full Vashisthasana. Slowly step back to plank, downward facing dog. Check in with how your body is breathing. Steadying your Ujjayi breath, please step your feet together in downward dog. Shift forward to plank and roll onto the outside edge of your right foot flex, stacking both feet flexed. Raise the left arm and stack your shoulders and wrists. Rotate your left thigh at the hip, entering tree pose, or clasp the left big toe, extending the leg just like hand to big toe. Vashisthasana. This time, plank pose, please lower to the ground, lying face down. Let's rest here for a few deep breaths. Please slide your knees together to start Dhanurasana, bow pose. Bending both knees, catch your outer feet and press your pubic bone into the ground. Kick your feet away and pull them towards you, lifting the knees, separating them no wider apart than hips distance. Coil your chest up. Lengthen the back of your neck by looking slightly down. Count another 5 or so breaths here in bow pose before releasing everything to rest. Be still and rest for 3 deep breaths. Last, bow Dhanurasana. Slide your knees close together, and maybe this time you catch your inner ankles. Might feel more intense if you're looking for that. Press your pubic bone into the floor and kick up for 5 to 10 breaths. Now try to evenly press into your hands, the left foot and the right foot. Once you've let it go, drop everything and rest again for 3 breaths. Please press up and come to sit for our last back bend. Bridge or upward bow. Now I invite you, since we've been practicing that abduction or that splaying of the thighs, to lift one leg up, but keeping the hips squared and leveled in either bridge or upward bow. Perhaps 5 breaths, one leg up, and then 5 breaths the other. Now be mindful when you're lifting a leg, if you're choosing to not seesaw the hips. Try to keep them balanced by engaging core muscles, firming the outer hips towards your midline. So as you lie on your back, bring the arms close to your sides and slide your feet back until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Separating your feet hips width apart, parallel them to each other. Ground your feet and shoulders for bridge, and for upward bow, plant the hands alongside your ears, making sure your elbows do not splay apart. Keep the arms parallel to each other. Take your choice of bridge or upward bow for a total of about 10 breaths. And once you've lowered your pelvis, drop the knees apart into Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle pose. Resting a hand at your heart and a hand at your lower belly. Drop in and slow your breath down. Deep inhale, long exhalation. Bringing your hands to your outer thighs, wrap your right leg over your left leg, then drop your knees to the left, stacking your right hip on top of your left hip. Then splay your right arm out to the right behind you, looking over your right shoulder. Allow a few breaths to drop the right shoulder closer and closer to the ground. So now your legs are in adduction, and even more so, internal rotation, the opposite of much of what we've been practicing today. Last 2 breaths here. When you're ready, unravel to center. Wrap your left leg over your right leg. Drop your knees completely to the right. Stack your left hip on top of your right hip. Then split your left arm behind you on the ground, looking over your left shoulder, and encourage it to sink closer to the earth. Let's start to lengthen the out breaths longer than the in breaths, a way to relax the nervous system more deeply. So you might take a 5 count inhalation and a 7 count exhalation. Then come back to center. Separate your feet on the ground wider than your hips distance and drop your knees together to touch. Resting your hands, palms face down on your lower belly. Send the inhalation down to the pit of your abdomen. And let your belly sink towards your spine as you exhale longer. Inhaling for 5, filling up the belly. Exhaling for 7, sinking the belly. Try that once more on your own. Give yourself 1 more minute for any last cooling posture. Supported shoulder stand, seated forward fold. Maybe you practice traditional shoulder stand before entering Shavasana. Take your time placing your body in a comfortable position in which you can be still. Rest everything, including controlling the breath. Closing your eyes and dropping inward. Shavasana. Staying here a little longer. As you keep your eyes closed, I invite you to mentally scan your physical body. Begin with what you're noticing at your feet and slowly climb your attention up each leg until you complete your whole body. Gather now how you're feeling physically. And begin with small movements, being gentle as you slowly wake up your body. Gradually turn over onto your right side and rest your head. There, bring your awareness to the breath, just naturally flowing. Through the qualities of your breathing, notice the way you feel now energetically. Press your hands into the ground and slowly lift your body up to sit, preparing for 5 minutes in meditation. Place your body in a way that you can be alert, at ease, and let the body be open for the breath to naturally and easily flow. Place your hands in a mudra that cultivates the feeling tone of your intention. Grounding, Yan Mudra, thumb and index fingers touching, palms face down. Uplifting and calling upon your higher consciousness, Chin Mudra. Same shape of the hands, palms face up. Close your eyes or steady a soft gaze on one spot, and let's begin our meditation. Resting your awareness on the feeling of the breath. Let the sensations of your natural breath anchor you in the present moment. so that if and when your attention goes astray from the present, you remember to bring it back to the feeling of the breath. As you keep your eyes closed, if they are, assess the way you feel mentally and emotionally now. Then begin to expand your perspective from attending to your inner being, your mind, to the outermost layers of your being, your physical body. Sense your body as a whole. Sense the space surrounding your body. And as you feel ready, gently blink your eyes open. What's one thing you can offer gratitude for now? Gratitude to the teachers who have shared yoga before us hundreds of years ago in India, allowing us to continue to benefit from the practice today. Rename your intention. What did you choose to focus on today? And remember to whom or what you dedicated today's practice to. Take a moment to picture them receiving benefit from your efforts. Remember how powerful your mind is. It's the reality from which you create and interact between your inner worlds and your outer worlds. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Let's close with 3 ohms. Inhale deeply. Bow in, honoring the light within you. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.